Something has bothered my mind, and I feel it's something we need to really talk about. This issue of, men breaking silently and breaking every now and then. We just keep losing men and losing our men and losing our men, our fathers, our husbands, our wives, our fathers, our husbands, our brothers, our uncles, our in-laws, and all of that. We keep losing men because they carry so much on the inside and they're not ready to let out. Why? Because they feel as a man you need to be strong. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the story of a young man who had everything going and everyone thought all was well until he broke. And I'm sure this story resonates and you can relate with it. For every man out there, I'm calling on all men out there, please take out time, watch this video and do the needful because we need you alive. Let me tell you a story about a man called David. David was a man everyone said was strong because he provided for his family, he encouraged his friends, he was always there for everybody, he helped his colleagues, and he was just every man's man. He was just everyone's man. He was a go-to man for everybody, everything, and all of that. David had a smile, he laughed, acted like he had everything together. But at night, when he was alone and quiet, when he was in the house all by himself, when everyone had retired, he would cry. He carried worries that nobody knew about. But there were certain things that were breaking him down that people rarely knew about or talked about. And these are the things I like us to talk about because it actually relates to not just the life of David, but to the life of every man out there who is struggling alone and dying in silence. We understand the burden you're going through. I personally understand the things you face, and I can relate with the things men are passing through. Not relate with it in the sense of I am a man, but I also have a man and I have men in my life, and I know what the struggle is like. I've taken my time, and because of that, I noticed that because of the many struggles and troubles that men go through, and because they keep it all inside, many of them tend to die untimely. So I like to talk to you about not just about Dave, but I think Dave is typical of, what many men go through. His story aligns and resonates with what many men go through and pass through in their lifetime. So I'll just give us, a background of the things that were happening on the inside of Dave that he kept all to himself just to prove that he's a strong man. You see, one thing David was going through that people never knew about, and he thought he had everything under control, was the fact that he had financial pressure. David had bills piled up, school fees to pay, house rents was there calling, medical bills were there to settle, mortgage was there, loans were there to be serviced, the home front was there for him to service, providing for the family, the need of the wife, the children, extended family was there calling on him and all of that. And he felt he was trapped, but he never told anyone about it. That's one thing that David had that was on his inside, buried on his inside. He never told anyone about his financial pressure. Next to that, he had this emotional isolation in the sense that at work and at home, David carried the weight of everyone's problem. He carried the weight of everyone's problem. Your problem was his problem. As long as you're able to share, or the moment he sees it on the expression on your face, he just wants to be there for you, just want to help you out. He just wants to ensure that you're okay, that you come out of it, and that you're fine and you're good to go. But no one asked how he was doing. And he never said a word about his emotional isolation. He never said a word about the fact that he was alone. He was feeling alone. He was feeling abandoned. He was feeling, isolated. He was feeling emotionally distanced from everybody. He felt like he was just alone in the world and locked up alone all by himself. And then we discovered that even the home front, things was not working well. Why? Because he tried to be the perfect husband. He tried to be the perfect husband, but he felt unappreciated. The wife was there, on the other hand, feeling like he was not doing enough. He could have done better, comparing him with other men, not seeing all of the good in everything he does, and always feeling like, oh, she deserved more, the children deserved more, the family deserved more. They had so much needs that they needed him to cater for, and he's not able to meet up with all of those responsibilities, and at times even see him as though he was irresponsible. This is not just the plight of David, but I need you to understand that this is typical of many men. About 95% of men suffer and go through this same thing I'm talking about of David. So even with all of those troubles and all of those, relationship strains that he had, even though he felt unappreciated and unheard, yet he smiled. Why? Because that's what men are supposed to do. They are supposed to keep it on the inside. Is that not what you thought? Is that not what you think? Is that not what it seems like? Is that not what we think society expects of every man? They think every man should be strong, should be super, should be, that man that will not appear to be weak. And so we just feel you should just be able to carry everything and not feel as though you're a weakling or you're becoming a woman. And then from there you discover that. I discovered that David began to have mental and physical exhaustion. When you carry all of these things, what else do you expect? Mental and physical exhaustion. Before we continue in this video, in case you've been here up to this time and you have not subscribed, you have not liked this video, you have not shared with somebody, please, I need you to do that right now. Hit on the subscribe button, like the video, share with somebody, leave a comment. So David had this emotional exhaustion. He was exhausted emotionally and physically. He had this mental exhaustion. And then, at 2 a.m. he said he would wake up around 2 a.m. and keep tossing to and fro. In fact, even tossing in bed. He was exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally. But society told him, you've got to be the man. You've got to be strong. You've got to put everything together. So strong men don't cry. That's what society made him to understand. And then he discovered that one night, David whispered to himself, I can't do this anymore. He realized no one was checking on him. No one knew the burden he had to carry, or he carried silently. No one, cares about him. And that's the reality so many men today carry about. And at this point, I discovered that this is the breaking point of every man that gives up. Because when they feel unheard, feel unappreciated, feel, silent, feel locked, feel caged in a word that they don't know, they are not sure what is in that word for them, they give up. They just tell themselves, I can't do this anymore. I heard a story of a young lady who lost her husband, and when she was interviewed, she said that they had everything going for them. They didn't have so much money, but they had the love, the joy, the sharing, the laughter, the stories. They had the friendship and the relationship, and they were contented and satisfied. And bit by bit, things began to improve, and the husband got bigger contract. They moved into an estate, and from moving into an estate, they discovered that, oh, she had to meet with other women who were living in the estate, and then they gradually began to influence and make her feel that the husband was not good enough for her. He was not providing what he should provide. And so they made her understand that for her to get the best out of that relationship, she has to push him. And she began to push him. The things that never mattered before began to matter so much. The things that, they would laugh about before, she no longer sees them as something to laugh about. They now irritated her. And she began to use, serious words on the husband. You're not good enough. I deserve more. I needed more. I should have better. I should look like other women and all of that. You are not doing enough. And I think she said one of the days she told her husband she regretted ever marrying him. This is somebody she married and she was celebrating. She cherished so much when they had nothing. In their days of little beginning, he was all that mattered to her. And the moment she said that word, he said she looked at the man and it seemed something sank on his inside from the look on his face. And without a word, he walked quietly out of the room. And she waited for him to come back. Still furious, she refused to call this line. And then at a point, she said she felt, oh, I think I have done too much. I have pushed him beyond the limit. I need him to come back home and all of that. So she was waiting for him to come back so she could apologize. And the next thing she got was a call from him. And then the caller was not her husband. And the caller was, are you so, do you know so person? He said yes. And she said, come to the hospital, so hospital. We need you. There was an emergency. There was an accident. And then she rushed to the scene and got to the hospital, and she met the husband in the pool of his blood. Now, he didn't survive. He went into coma. He stayed for days and I think a week or so. And then finally the doctor announced to her that they lost him. And ever since she had carried about the guilt of what she used her own hands to create for herself, she destroyed her man, destroyed her marriage. Emotional strain is the height of it all. And when you do not check on the men in your life, you leave them so vulnerable. Today, I want to encourage every one of us, be you a mother, a wife, you woman, every female today, I want to encourage you to please check on the men in your life. Check on the men in your life. Could be your husband, your brother, your father, your uncle, your male colleagues, your male friends. These people matter. Check on your pastor. Check on your leaders that you are close to. Check on the men that are in your life. They matter. They need to be felt. They need to be seen. They need to be heard. They need to be encouraged. You need to begin to do things right. Change the way you talk to them. Don't behave like David's friends and relatives and spouse and children who never bothered about all of the things he was carrying and all of the things he was going through until he broke. Please, let's do the society, let's do as much as possible to reduce the rate of our men dying because of this level of carelessness. You, a man, you must not hold it all to yourself. Learn to speak out. Learn to find somebody, a safe space to unburden. Learn to talk to somebody. Learn to go for counseling. Learn to take time off work and business and go on vacation. Learn to go to meetings where you can hear something that will relieve you. Learn to go to cinema, to movie houses where you can laugh, relax. Relax. You need to be you. You need to be well so that every other thing can be well. Please, check on yourself, love on yourself, crush on yourself, enjoy as much as you can. Eat that good food, drink that wine you want to drink. Like, look, see, don't just come and kill yourself. The world is already hard and busy. We don't need you to add to what makes the world hard and busy. You need to love on yourself. You're not a machine. You're not a robot. You're human and you matter. You matter so much. So we need you to be able to put everything together by loving yourself, meeting your own needs, providing for yourself, and prioritizing you. Till I come your way again, don't forget to subscribe. Need you to know that on this space is a win-win we do. It is all about love, life, and relationship. That's what we talk about on this space. And don't you forget that you are loved, you're valued, and I personally celebrate you. Bye-bye.